Howdy, I'm Jace and I'm a sex addict. Usually you'll find me on here talking about my life as an addict or a person in recovery, but this week we're going to switch it up because it's a super awesome, super special video in that I just passed my 2 year mark of being naked in public. I did my first video in July of 2015, which seems about a million years ago at this point. And I came on and told my friends and family and coworkers and exes and anybody who was online, and as it turns out, a whole lot more people too, that I was not only an addict, but that I was in recovery and I was working to create a different life for myself and that I had found a solution to a life of suffering. So it was a really scary video, but it was also a really exciting thing for me to do as well in hindsight. And now we are at the 2 year anniversary of that. And last year I put out kind of what I've learned after being naked in public for 1 year. So I thought I would follow that up with what I have learned from being naked in public for 2 years. Um, I think the biggest changes for me this past year have come in growing my relationship with a power greater than myself, really moving from a place of fear into a place of faith. And that has brought a lot of freedom with it. Freedom for me to explore, freedom for me to be who I really am. And that keeps, altering. I keep learning different things about myself because through recovery and therapy that I've done and a whole mess of other things, I recognized that the person I thought I was really just a reflection of things that had happened to me. And now I'm really getting in a place where I am actively deciding who I am. And that's really cool. And when I do that in a position of faith, I can do that without a whole lot of fear and anxiety behind it. So this last year has led to a lot more fun, a lot more creativity, and a whole lot more exploration in a really gentle way. I've had some really exciting guides brought into my life. Earlier in the year, I did my human optimization series, and that was really cool, learning about letting go of limitations that I hold for myself and just my belief systems and how that creates my thoughts, which create my actions, which create my life. And that's been an ongoing study that I've been doing with myself this year. And gosh, probably as long as I can remember, but specifically in this process this year. Um, I've learned a lot of patience. I think that's another really big one. About this time last year, I prayed for humility. I prayed to have my ego stripped. And man, was the universe happy to accommodate. So um, it has been like a really great and fun year, but I had to go through a lot this year as well. A lot of really painful things, a lot of really like reality type of things. But that's led me to be more compassionate, to have a lot more patience for myself and the world around me, and to detach from that a bit. Like, I don't have control over anything. I have control over how I react to things and what happens within this like one vessel, but that's about it. And that's really freeing. That kind of freaked me out at first, but now it's like, oh, I don't have to worry about what everyone else is doing and like all of the madness out there. Like, I just have to deal with this. And that's plenty. And that's brought on new perspective, additional freedom, and a lot of patience as well. I've also learned that a lot more people struggle with this than I thought. I knew that there were a lot of folks, but I didn't realize quite how many people there were out there. And I have only gotten contacted more often than when I first started. And in the beginning, I was getting contacted pretty frequently, and now that just has continued to grow. More people that are in pain or that are struggling with this or similar addictions and are seeking recovery, or just, feeling lost, like I was feeling lost, feeling alone, feeling isolated. And that makes me really sad that there are so many people out there. But there are also more resources than there ever have been, especially for sex addicts. Even 2 years ago when I started, it was far more taboo than it's becoming today. So I've seen that grow as well, where now, maybe it's because it's just so much part of my life, but I don't get a whole lot of people batting an eye at me when they find out I'm a sex addict. So I've noticed a lot of changes just in the world around me with regard to sex addiction and recovery as well. There are more shows that are touching on addiction in families and recovery within them, and just like the pains that come along with addiction and the trauma that it spawns from. So, man, that's like been a really exciting thing, and I look forward to seeing more of that and just how the world changes and really starts accepting those of us in it, because in actuality, addiction hits millions of families in one way or another. It's the one thing that really connects this country. Pretty much every single person either is an addict or has an addict or has had close interactions with addicts. Like, it affects all of us. Why we're pretending that that's not going on is so foolish, because it just leaves a lot of us suffering. And that's needless. We don't need to be doing that. And I've learned, man, just like a lot about love. This last year has been a lot of learning about love for me, and how that's our one true reality. That is what makes up everything. Every living being is consistent of love, and like love is like the universal, like big love, not like I'm gonna send you a Valentine, card or anything like that. But that I'm a source of love, and everybody is, and everything is, available to give and receive love if willing. So I've been working a lot on that myself, on more the receiving love. I really struggle with receiving love, but I've been working on that, and also just the power that gives me to be me. And the more me I can be, the more I can serve the world, the more I can serve those in my community and everything, right? The more I'm trying to put up veils or, hold up images or live this life that I think I'm supposed to live, the less service that I can be to my community. And so with, man, so much help from you guys. I don't know if you guys will ever really understand what you've done for me just by accepting me and showing me compassion and just showing me what it's like to receive someone in a decent, loving, kind way. And I've gotten so much of that from you guys. It blows me away. Like, I'm not as shocked as I was my first year that, like, oh my God, there are nice people out there who want to love you and care for you. Now I know that to be true, but it just keeps growing. And that's amazing. I love that. That's really neat. And I think the last thing I'll touch on, in my first video, I claimed that, that I was imperfect and I was proud. But what I've learned this last year is that I am perfect. We are all perfect. It just doesn't look anything like what we thought it was going to. But I really, truly, 1,000,000% believe that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be at exactly when I'm supposed to be. And that does not mean nailing it all of the time. My challenges and struggles have been very purposeful in growing who I am in life. And so I recognize, if I really believe that, and I really do, that whatever is out there, you call it God, creator, goddess, universe, whatever, something's there, right? Something's there, and it's a whole lot bigger than I am. And having that faith and feeling that I'm on a path and I'm always right where I'm supposed to be, then I'm perfect. And you're perfect, and we're all perfect. Everything's perfect all the time. I just had to let go of the expectations of what I thought perfect looked like. I thought perfect meant I had no problems. I thought perfect meant I was like entirely good looking, and I was like super fit and ultra healthy, and like, that perfect meant I had plenty of money and that I was successful in this way and that way. And like, that ain't perfect. Those are just expectations that I set as like a standard to get to for God knows what reason. And so when I can just accept who I am, where I'm at, when I'm at, I am perfect. I'm perfectly placed at all times. So, yeah, I think I'm perfect. I think everybody's perfect. We just got to let go of that idea of what perfection is going to look like. And the moment we can accept who we are, where we are, life gets a whole lot easier. And I've gotten that gift this year. And I know it's one that's going to continue to grow. So that's where I'm at. 2 years, naked in public, out here in the open, not hiding who I am, not hiding my disease, not hiding my recovery from that disease. It feels good. It feels really good. I remember the day that I did my first video and how scared I was, but I think that was one of the best decisions I've made. And I'm so glad for anyone who's been here since the beginning. Like, I hope you'll celebrate with me today, or anyone who's come along the way. I really hope that this has been helpful to you in one way or another. Please keep sending your questions in. I will get to all of them as quickly as I can, either by sending a response email or hitting it up on one of these videos. I love hearing from you guys. It really helps me to know I'm not alone in all of this. So it's a huge service to me. Your comments, your emails, sharing these are really helpful to get the info out there to more people. Yeah, it's what it's all about, right? So thank you guys so much, and I will catch you next time. Until then, stay curious.